name's Stefanie Moore, and before I did the Hive and the piece that I wrote for the Hive was the first piece of theatrical writing that I've done. Before that, I worked as an actor, trained as an actor, but this would be about 20 years ago, and I just had such a awful time in the industry that kind of walked away from it completely until now. Having a mentor has helped me because if I hadn't had a mentor, there wouldn't be a piece. The piece would not exist. It's helped me in terms of the stagecraft of it, because I think having two mentors as well has been brilliant, because I wrote this very sort of long first draft, having very little sense, despite having acted, I had very little sense of how to put a script together, and then working with Tim Firth to kind of craft that. He was the one who told me to keep the comedy very high in the mix, and looking at how to sort of edit a scene, where to move away, and to allow the actors space to do a little bit of the work, and the audience as well. I think everything I'd sort of written everything in for everybody is sort of quite a control freaky fashion. But then after that, then having Mike come in to sort of help me sort of, this is going to sound terrible, but like rediscover like the kind of emotional truth of it, to pull it back from being too comedic. So what we have now with the piece is like, I think something that's really beautifully balanced somewhere between sort of comedy and pathos. And I wouldn't have done that on my own. I think it will help my artistic development in the future, because this project is very, very personal to me. It involves elements of my own life, and I think what it's taught me to do as a process is to look at projects artistically and maybe kind of work at a little bit of a remove, so that even if it is something that has happened to me, that I'm able to kind of take a step away and look at it as a piece of work, as opposed to an extension of my life. And I mean, I can't stress it enough, I would not have written it, I wouldn't have developed it if I didn't have mentors. It just wouldn't have happened. I know what I'm like. I'll write something, but it'll be, you know, on a receipt, and then it'll just sit in the bottom of my bag and turn into like compost or whatever. It wouldn't have happened at all. So not to be too dramatic about it, but there wouldn't be artistic development, because I would be developing artistically. I think the future for Blue Lines, I would like in the first instance to talk to some sort of local regional theatres about so I'd like to submit it to regional theatres nearby. I'd also like to, and I have spoken to some of the nurses at St Mary's, which is where I had my fertility treatment, which is also something that kind of comes up in the play. They're very interested in seeing it as a production, as seeing sort of just another take, I suppose, on people, on women who were kind of women and men who were going through this experience. So I think there is definitely a future for it beyond this. I'm already starting to think about different projects, again, which I wouldn't be doing. And I think what I've realised through doing this process is, again, to relate it back to that sort of 20 years ago when I worked as an actor, where just the whole industry felt very competitive and very mean, and sort of really knocked my spirit throughout my 20s and 30s. What's been brilliant about this whole process is that I'm accessing things that I just felt for a long time I didn't kind of have the talent to be in that world. And I'm accessing people who are like really successful, really talented, really working in the industry, but it's as they're supportive, they're kind of, you know, no questions too stupid, they're helping me out with my ideas, as opposed to my previous experience of the industry, which was always kind of feeling like I was being a little bit knocked down for my talents. And that was a lot, considering all the way through my kind of teens and everything. That was the only thing that I wanted to do, and then the reality of it was just so horrible. So I'm incredibly grateful, because I just wouldn't be doing it, basically. If I was going to sort of, if anybody's thinking about doing the kind of the Hive next year, I'd say just do it. The process is so incremental that you don't have to have a finished project. You just have to have an idea, and that idea can be as a journal entry or a short story or whatever. Everything else you'll be supported throughout it. It's not about your finished product at all. What I think is really great about the Hive as well is that it's not a workshop. Everything, all the support that I've had has been completely bespoke to my experience. But the kind of the little sort of sizzle with it is that there is an audience at the end of it. It's not a workshop, it's not invited audience, so everybody sits around and goes, oh great, well done, isn't that lovely, and you leave it. There is a stress there, because you have an audience of people that you don't know who are going to come and watch your play. So it is a lived experience of theatre, but you get so much support throughout it. You don't have to have a finished product, but everybody is on board to help you get to that finished product. Do I think, is there anything that could be done differently next year? No, because I feel like the framework for it is so flexible and kind of it responds to the writer or the performer who is doing the Hive Award. My one regret, and it's a personal regret, is that I didn't necessarily always get to immerse myself into that general world of the Fringe as much as I would like to have. But that's nothing that the Hive could support me with. So no, I can't think of any way that you could improve it, because I think it responds so brilliantly to whatever the individual requires.